What is quest? If you've been around Acton or you've watched videos, you've probably heard the term quest used. So, quest is in the afternoon. This happens in every studio. It is a collaborative group project, usually centered around some kind of theme. So, if you think of like project-based learning, that's kind of a quest. However, when the way we define quest and think about these learning projects is with a storyline attached. Surprise, surprise. So, as heroes, learning, part of learning is the idea that it's a journey. And so, a quest begins with a question and ends with an answer. So, at the beginning of a session, a new quest will be rolled out. And the quest could be anything. Often they're science related. So I'll talk about each studio a little bit in just a second. But just to give you an overview, think of a quest like a hero is headed out on a journey to find or answer a question. And so there'll be a theme, and the heroes in the afternoon will have quest challenges. And these can be delivered either on Journey Tracker for Voyager and older, or the guide will deliver the challenge for the day. So there's a challenge, and the question is, will I fulfill the challenge? And all of the challenges add up to some larger challenge. Yeah, some bigger quest. And in the end, we discover, did the hero accomplish their quest? So each hero is going on a quest, but collectively, the group of Acton learners goes on these quests. Every 6 weeks is a new quest. So there's a deep dive for 6 weeks into some kind of learning theme or project. And then after the 6 weeks, we have our week off, and then we do a new quest. So it resets in kind of a fun, exciting way with a new thing to explore and dive deep into. So in the Discovery Studio, the quests are based around heroes throughout time and also based around a theme. So every 6-week session, there is a theme. I'll give you a few examples. So one of my favorites is called It's Showtime. The theme for the 6 weeks is It's Showtime, and each week the Discovery heroes learn about a hero, a famous hero throughout time that did some kind of work or was notable in that theme. So for It's Showtime, they are learning about the life of William Shakespeare, who he was, the things he faced, the hard things, the time period that he lived in. Then Walt Disney, which I'm just sharing the ones that come off the top of my head. Lucille Ball. And at the end of the 6 weeks, they've learned about 5 incredible world-changing heroes. They've studied two of their character traits, and then practiced those character traits and done some challenges that put them in kind of a similar situation as that hero. So at the end of the 6 weeks, the Discovery heroes put on a talent show. And you would not believe the kind of talents that have shown up. Some were very, expected. A piano piece, dancing, telling jokes. We've had one hero bring his Harry Potter cape and scarf and did a magic trick, which consisted of saying the magic words and putting his wand toward the audience. We've had kazoo playing. In fact, one time, the cutest learner, Hudson, they're all so cute, but Hudson's really cute. He brought his kazoo. Now, remember, he hadn't really planned this with his parents, because sometimes the parents are involved, but sometimes the heroes just do it. They prepare for exhibition, which in this case was the talent show. So he says he's going to play kazoo. The guides are like, okay. He gets there. The kazoo doesn't have the little wax paper on it that is supposed to be there in order to vibrate and make the sound. So he just sat there and sat there and sat there. I don't even remember actually what happened, but because the guides are not in charge of an exhibition, the heroes, the 5 to 8 year old heroes, are in charge. I think finally one of the learners came up and just ushered him off stage. I don't even remember, but I do remember his parents saying, "Oh, that was excruciating to just sit there and not jump in and help him." And what a beautiful learning opportunity for everyone there to let the learners do it, to let them figure it out. And the next year, Hudson had a completely different talent, but he was ready. He had everything in place. And also just, you could see that he'd grown in so much confidence, probably because of the failure, but also because he knew to be ready. And I think he, anyways, sang a song the next year, a song that he wrote. Okay, so that's Hudson. That was the Discovery Talent Show, one of our favorite. Anyways, when they study Shakespeare, they memorize a short verse from Shakespeare and perform it. So that's one example. Another one is, what's another one? Like a STEM one. I don't remember what it's called. It's called something cute. But, they might study Leonardo da Vinci, Einstein, and as well as modern scientists, and they'll do sciencey type things and talk about the kind of character traits that those heroes had to develop in order to overcome. Edison is one of them. So a really rich learning opportunity about character and kind of career stuff, as well as history. Anyway, Hero Quest in Discovery is magical. That was really long about Hero Quest. In Voyager and in navigation, they're a little more similar, although the navigation level is just completely up-leveled as far as rigor and the kind of challenges that they need to do. In Voyager, sometimes we've had a Lego architecture quest. So it isn't just playing with Legos, it's Lego challenges. And I think we also had a Lego physics quest where how tall can you build the bridge? How far can you move it? All kinds of different challenges. They do art quests. Art quests, and it ends in an art auction. Right now, they're doing what they're calling the art and charity. They choose a real charity with their group that they want to raise money for. And then they create art. And at the end, there's an art auction. And the team that has the most money, their charity gets the money from the art auction. So again, really light, really cool, real experiences where they're developing skills, working together as a team, and collaborating, which is where you get all of those really hard, awesome experiences of collaborating with a team to accomplish a goal. That's all rolled into these quest experiences. Navigation, they have a sprinkling of different quests, but theirs are a little more regimented because they have high school credits to earn. And so we do a science rotation every year. We have to do 2 science quests in order to complete their high school credits for science. So we have a rotation of 2 chemistry quests, 2 physics quests, 2 biology quests that will happen in the same year. Idea of chemistry in cooking, and they have cooking chopped challenges where they do have to cook and get judged, but they also dive deep into how the fats and the acids relate to each other and their molecular structure and the heating and the cooling and all these elements of chemistry, that the point being they're hands-on. They're learning how chemistry impacts their life, not by looking at a textbook, but by actually getting to experiment with the chemicals and the chemical reactions. Happen every day in cooking, and we don't really know why. I don't really know why, but they do. One of our most interesting discussions as a family, I remember our older children were doing the chemistry and cooking quest, and we're sitting at dinner, and they start talking about fats and acids, and Brad and I looked at each other and we're like, oh, this works. Like, this school thing that we're trying to do for our children, it really works. So that's that first chemistry quest. The next one is chemistry and rockets. They literally build rockets. This last year we had some heroes really excited about it, and they 3D printed theirs and did all these pre-tests with fuses and the fuel to see if it would work. and or not if it would work, but how high they could get it to go. That was their quest, is will I be able to build a rocket with the chemistry knowledge I gain over the course of the 6 weeks to go at least this high in the air using this fuse and this fuel? Will I be able to build the rocket? And at the end, they light off their rockets and we see what happens. And note that our group last year, they actually had to get permission. Well, they couldn't get permission to do exhibition at any of the campuses because it was too close to airports, and their rockets were going to go high enough. They had to get clearance or go far away. So they went far away and shot off their rockets, and they went high. It was pretty impressive. Those are just some examples of what the quest could be. There's in navigation a photography quest. There's what's it called? Behavioral economics. We have quests also centered around history, and they kind of get a living history type quest where they are in the shoes of the people in the American Revolution or the Cold War, and they get to wrestle with the things that the people in that time wrestled with and really learn that deep history. So, but that's all part of their quest experience. Just a note about Launchpad, which is our oldest studio, pretty much juniors and seniors. They may participate in quests if they still need those credits. If they've earned all of those credits, then they're really deeply focusing on their own next great adventure. And that kind of looks like a personal quest where they set out to interview people in the careers that they're interested in, to deep dive into skills that they would like to potentially use as a career, and figure out, what do I want to do next? And how do I make sure that everything I do now helps me to be successful for my next great adventure? So that's a whole nother video. If you're interested in learning more about that, or have an older student, you want to see what kind of the end of the road looks like, you can go on our YouTube channel. The Next Great Adventure Talks is where our oldest heroes present at the end of the year what they've figured out on this next great adventure quest, and they share with the audience in a formal speech what they've done, how many hours they put in, where they're going, what they're going to do next, and they actually have the opportunity to earn up to a $100,000 fellowship for their next great adventure. So go check out those talks. You'll be incredibly amazed. They get better every year, and our heroes are thriving because they get these awesome quest opportunities. Again, with the underlying idea that it's more fun to go on a quest than read a textbook, and we want to learn hands-on skills. Also, group and collaborating together. So many lessons are learned in that realm because they get to work together. That's so many skills are gained in doing that. So if you want your child to come experience a day at Acton, they can come for the first part of the day and meet some friends. And if you want to know more about Acton, or just come see the space and see how we do things, we'd love to have you come visit us and learn more.